Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Profit Talk. First of all, congratulations, you made it through another tax season. If you happen to forget for some reason, April 15th was yesterday, and it's after midnight. So, with any luck at all, you've remembered both to get your 1040 filed, as well as your payments made, and made an estimated tax payment. I thought it would keep the conversation on taxes for the next couple 3 weeks because they're top of mind, and you've got a very valuable tool with that Form 1040. So this week, let's talk about estimated taxes briefly. And this is very simple to do, and I believe it or not, I've actually done it myself after giving advice to all of my clients on how much they should pay for the quarter. I'll suddenly realize that I need to make my own payment too. So you can make these payments a day or two late. Um, there's a very slim chance of a small penalty, but it's better to do it now than to wait until June and just make the next payment. If you are in an income situation where you should be paying every quarter. And it's simply this. If you're going to owe more than $1,000 in tax, when you file your taxes, you have to make estimated tax payments. The only way to get out of that is if you have made sufficient payments to cover your taxes in the previous year, but you still want to do it for the simple reason that basically keeps a clean room in your mind. Okay. In other words, you're making money for the first quarter, which has just elapsed January through March, and you are basically looking at having a certain amount of money as a result of your efforts. If you pay your taxes as you go, as you did when you were a wage earner and your employer did it for you, then that basically keeps that cleaned up throughout the year. And when you file your taxes next year, you're not stressed because you're not so worried about it costing you a fortune. You've already been paying throughout the year. So let me go ahead and share my visual aids here real quick. So like I said, let's just keep it light this week. And because we just got through tax season, I'm not going to keep you on the video very long here. So the why and the when. The why I kind of went over. It sort of keeps that room cleaned up in your mind. But the other thing is it is basically a requirement. And if you are a physician, forget about paying less than $1,000 in tax. You may owe 10 to 20 or even $40,000, depending on your income situation, or significantly higher. It can depend. Whether or not you file everything with a Schedule C, or you're doing some kind of a business return, a corporation return or partnership, you are going to owe taxes on money that are other than wages. So that is going to be you. And this is something you need to grow accustomed to. So embed these tax deadlines in your mind. They are April 15th. Yeah, that was yesterday. Get it done today when we get finished with this, if you have a minute. So second quarter is the middle of June. The third quarter is middle of September, and fourth quarter is January. Now, those are offsets. They're not perfect quarters. You got 3, 2, 3, and 4 months. We believe the reason for that is simply because of the federal fiscal year. Believe it or not, your federal government works on a fiscal year that begins on October 1st, not January 1st. And we think that September payment is an effort for them to put money in the treasury. So I can't find another better explanation. It's screwy, but those are the dates. They haven't changed for decades. So, and of course, the rest of this simply says that the reason why we're doing this is because the IRS believes they're a pay-as-you-go system. But for we entrepreneurs, they're actually giving us a break, believe it or not, by only requiring this every 4 months. We're going to talk about how to deal with that. You may not want to actually think about this just quarterly, but I'll wrap up on that later. So the first quarter has elapsed, and you may be asking yourself how best to calculate that first payment. Now, I'm going to suggest the current performance method, and simply what you need to do, if you can sit down for a minute and do this, is take a look at your profit and loss statement for January through March. Your bookkeeper or yourself, if you've got that access and enjoy doing that, you should be able to pull up a last quarter, 1/1 through 3/31 P&L, multiply everything by 4, and that's going to give you an estimate of your income for the year. Uh, Calculate the tax on that, and there are online calculators available. And then divide that tax by 4 and make that payment. I like to round to whole hundreds amounts, but you don't have to. You can make as accurate looking payment as you want to. It doesn't matter. If you listen to what I just said for the last minute and you're like, no, I don't have that kind of time, look at what you paid last year in taxes, divide that by 4, and just send a payment in. And then you can get drill down in a little bit more accuracy, and the remaining 3 deadlines being June, September, and January next year. So that gives you a thing that you can do. To make that payment, you want to go to IRS Direct Pay in your favorite search engine. All you got to do is type that in. Never, ever use anything that says ad or a website that doesn't end with irs.gov. Okay, you should never pay extra to make this payment. States do also have online payment options. There are 41 states that have an income tax, including mine in Colorado. And you also do want to calculate something for them as well. It should be less, hopefully. I know New York and California, you have a more complicated situation, and even Ohio with your RETA taxes on the cities and everything. But basically, if you don't do anything else, get an estimated payment in. Just type IRS Direct Pay. It'll basically take you to the URL that I've printed on this slide for you. And when you hit the big blue Make a Payment button, there's going to be a drop down. Once you choose estimated tax, the other 2 drop downs will automatically populate. It will be 1040 ES, that's correct, and it will be for this year, and that's also correct. And when you go forward to that, it'll ask you to verify yourself by knowing how you filed last year, the way you spelled your name on your tax return, and if you're married, filing joint, or single, or head of household. So, and that's basically it. So I'd like to leave you with a couple of more tips, though. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. Okay. One thing is, if you have a personal bank, and you absolutely should. If you take draws out of your business, you should be withdrawing money, putting it in a personal account, and then leading your personal life out of that. Go to that bank and create a new tax savings account if you haven't already. Name it tax savings and don't use it for anything but estimated payments. Okay. And what I would highly recommend is to get in that fiscal habit of making a deposit in there every single month. If you have a really crappy month and it was a loss for some reason, I can't imagine why. You work so hard to get that license, and you should never have a lost month. But if it just happens that that's the case, don't make a payment. But otherwise, I would throw something into that savings account on a monthly basis. When you go to IRS Direct Pay, they actually allow you the option to choose checking or savings, and you just pay them right out of that. Same thing with your state. So hopefully that's helpful. And if you haven't made your payment and you're watching this and you're thinking to yourself, man, I'm glad I'm watching this, then I'm about to wrap up. Go and get it done now. And we'll see you next week at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That's 7:30 West Coast, 10:30 East Coast, and 9:30 if you're in Chicago. So we're here every single week, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the metrics and the planning and strategy tool that you just created with your tax return. So I'm looking forward to seeing you next week at that time. Until then, have an amazing day. And if you have a chance today, do something randomly kind for a stranger. So until next week, so long.